The event I'm going to narrate for you on this occasion happened between March and April of 2011. As you already know from the information I talked about in my previous videos, in 2011 I was studying for my master's degree in nuclear physics in Belgium. Some days or maybe a few weeks prior to the following encounter, I had my first meet with two amazing humanoids. I'll leave a link for that video at the end so you can watch it if you haven't. On that fateful date, it was afternoon, and I was walking down the street towards a well-known city park. This particular street has many fast food restaurants that the students used to visit. As you probably know, when one is a student, we usually resort to fast food in order to eat, due to the lack of time we have to prepare our own more healthy food. Usually, I used to walk the whole street until the corner where a Domino's Pizza was located. It was a newly opened place, actually. This street is normally full of people walking up and down, but that afternoon there were no pedestrians around. Very odd indeed. While reaching almost half the street, I noticed the figure of a girl, some 50 meters away in the distance. It looked like a young girl in her 20s, with long light brown hair and casual clothing. Strangely, after looking at her, I automatically reached for my right pocket and got a hold on a €2 coin. Why? Because I got some sort of mental message from her, asking me for some money to eat. Some seconds later, we were face to face, and she only made a gesture with her hand, no words. Then I understood and gave her the coin. Her appearance struck me because, although she looked young, she had a gaunt appearance and also very pale skin, covered with lots of tiny wrinkles, especially around her mouth, forehead, and cheeks. She looked very much like the actress Robin Wright in the movie The Pledge. When I gave her the money, she received it gladly, and before walking away from me, she gave me an ample and honest smile. That's when I noticed something out of place. Her teeth in her entire mouth were black in color. She had all her teeth, but the color was very dark. I have never seen something like that, and I have failed to find a picture on the web accurately resembling what I witnessed in that very moment. She continued walking, and I did the same thing, both in opposite directions. At some point, I turned my head back and I saw her entering a small convenience store located at the corner of the street. I continued my stroll and never saw her again. Intrigued by the event, later that evening, I reflected on it. My best guess is that this girl had to be some drug addict beaten up by heavy substance abuse. I came up with that conclusion because I remember seeing some before and after pictures of addicted women, and I thought foolishly that this girl might be afflicted by that. As I reflected on previous videos, my mind used my rational thinking to justify many of the things I was living and trying, in a way, to protect me from the inevitable shattering of my world. Another interesting point is that, as you already know from my previous encounter with the two humanoids outside the spy shop, I also gave €2 to this girl. Later on, I learned that this specific amount of money might not be a coincidence, but it actually has some deeper meaning behind it. I will talk more deeply about this on future episodes. Also, I will reveal the true identity of this girl and the intentions of her and her people. Believing or not believing is independent from reality. If you don't believe in ghosts, for instance, it doesn't affect the fact that they maybe exist. Rational thinking is a safe harbor for those who fear sailing among open waters. The hitchhiker effect is easily explained when you see it as a natural consequence of having a spiritual awakening and now being able to see the invisible world hidden from you until now. In 2 years from now, the world will become so different that many of our everyday activities will become obsolete and nonsensical. The new humanity is already here, painfully evolving in a world surrounded by ignorance, prejudice, and disbelief. In order to survive, dinosaurs grew wings. What does humanity need to grow in order to survive?